Can we test to make sure that open road works for me?
You on stream?
Sorry?
You mean stream or what?
I just want to test if open road
Yeah,
works.
okay.
Just to make sure. Good evening, morning, night, or afternoon, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome to the Quarantine Cup here in Left 4 Dead 2, where we have a showdown between frag4 of Europe and Luckyglock of North America. So, welcome ladies and gentlemen. We have an exciting game on our hands here, and also face reveal, by the way. So, but of course the face cam is going to be switched off for the game, but just thought I'd give a little surprise. So, welcome everybody to this double game. There should be two. We are beginning on a United States located server, and then we're going to transition onto Europe after that. So we have an interesting installment on our hands because both of these two teams are in the winner bracket, and yeah, they have been playing exceptionally. They can't stay in the winner bracket forever. One of them has to go, and one of them is actually going to move down to the loser bracket or the lower bracket after this game. So it's all up to what's going to happen here. So we are beginning to ready up. So soon I shall be disappearing and we will be getting the game live. So welcome to everybody. Glad everybody could make it. This is going to be Luckyglock versus frag4. And hopefully everybody is going to be having as good of a time as I'm going to have, because I'm very excited. So welcome everybody. 6 people are already in the game, so we can switch off the face cam now, and we can go straight into the game pretty much. So there we are. Not many more people to be waiting on here. So this is something that I'm really excited for. Cannot express that enough. We are going to see on Luckyglock Spirit, Ramirez, Nevermore, and Avocado up against Wristburner, Spongy, Dave, and Peter over on the frag4 side of the spectrum. And we are going live here, ladies and gentlemen, on open road in the Quarantine Cup, in round number 3 of the double elimination process, where we're in the winner bracket. So we are going to be seeing some high-level gameplay here. There's no doubt about that. It's going to be a Charger moving in with the Smoker onto Rochelle, but the Charger is focus fired into Oblivion, as is the Jockey, as is the Smoker. Not really much more to say other than there is a tank, actually. That's going to be a rocket boomer, and some decent bunny hops. Managed to get a proxy boom onto one survivor, that being Coach. He isn't in the worst position, though. The tank actually has been taking some chip here quite significantly. He has taken, rounded up to the nearest 100, he's taken a 900 damage. So maybe not the best result in the world for him, but he is going to be, well, he's going to be repositioning, that's for sure. He's going to be looking for that dumpster. That's what he wants, and he has enough time, I would imagine, as long as he gets the hits right, of course. He's on pass number 1, 35% of it, but it does look like he's playing his cards well, and he should be able to get the dumpster into play before he loses it. And indeed, that dumpster is in a strange position. I wonder if he can make this work. Yeah, indeed he can. Yeah, absolutely. In moves one dumpster. That's very precarious. That just barely misses them, actually. Unfortunate for the tank, but the tank does have to commit now. He is on 25% of pass number 1, looking for the first pin. And he chooses Coach to go for. He hasn't found anybody just yet, though, and he is taking damage. 2k HP. That's going to be the Smoker landing onto Ellis, but cleared immediately. That's going to be a separation Jockey, though, and the Charger is going to team up with the Jockey. That's going to be significant damage, as well as a hittable log straight onto Coach. Unfortunately, there's not really enough life left in the tank to secure any sort of kill, but regardless, that's going to be a delay charge as well, just attempting to delay the get-up animation. But all in all, that was pretty well played by both sides, I would say. It was a good Jockey. And the smoker did actually provide the necessary distraction in order for that jockey to get that that kind of separation. So all in all, props to both teams, but Luckyglock are looking in a good position. They've had just Rochelle booms there, but not much is going to follow from it, as the survivors quite patiently take the horde around this this truck. We are going to be having a hunter, spitter, and a smoker, and in 3 seconds, it will be the 4th and final spawn, which is a jockey. So hunter, jockey, and a smoker is the tricap. They do not have the spitter. Excuse me, they do not have the charger. They do have the spitter, though. And that could work in their favor, this being a closed area and all. They have to make their way up this staircase, and staircases are common choke points, and the hunter is going to be moving in. Gets nicely shut down, though, actually, and, well, the spitter and the smoker combined somewhat, but all in all, that's a pretty good result, again, for Luckyglock. I would say that they are playing pretty well so far, as they make their way through this indoor area. And they now have a crescendo to deal with, this door being alarmed, and therefore it is going to trigger a horde, which the survivors are choosing to take around about this this kind of staircase area. The boomer is popped so effortlessly, though, by Nevermore there. Very nice boomer pop from the North American squad. Just bear in mind as well, this is North America versus Europe, essentially, in a nutshell. We do have a jockey, charger, and a hunter, and it could actually end up being a smoker. It is indeed a smoker, so we're looking at a quad cap here, ladies and gentlemen. Let's just see if they can pull it off, though. It's an interesting choke point. It's kind of difficult, really, for the charger. Because of all the these railings, the staircases, it can be a little bit difficult, but all in all, let's just see how they execute this quad cap. They are choosing to go outside instead of inside, which could actually be a good decision. Let's just see how it plays out here, though. Survivors are making their way out into the open area. And let's just see how this quad cap fares, because there is no more tank. Jockey is moving in from the rooftop. The smoker is cleared immediately, though, as is the jockey and the charger. The hunter lands for a little bit, but that is all she wrote for the infected attack. The damage is pretty minimal, and I have to say, you've got to give props to Luckyglock here. This is some very, very good survivor gameplay. Fantastic, in fact. They are really keeping their game faces on, that is for sure, and the safe room is not too far away either. They have to be careful of Coach being in the back. He is slow because he is below 40 HP. Smoker is spawning up in, behind with the jockey. Smoker's unable to land, though, as is the jockey thus far. Tongue is being cut, though. The trees are just proving to be his worst nightmare, and, well, the smoker gets shut down, as does the jockey. That will be some delay spits, but it doesn't actually quite spread the way the spitter would have wanted it to. So, the survivors, Luckyglock, make it into the safe room with 948 points. So, overall, a pretty impressive performance, I would say. You know, they suffered an in-cap, and they took a reasonable amount of damage where Rochelle is concerned. But all in all, I would say they played pretty well there. And we are now going to transition into the second half of this first chapter here, which is going live immediately. So that's obviously a caster's dream. Match is going live immediately. frag4, it's their turn now to take the podium in terms of playing the survivor side. They're going to be facing a charger, jockey, smoker, and a boomer. Same as last time, as always. Smoker's going to be spawning up in the front here, looking for the first pull. Boom onto one, but Charger is going to move in, but the focus fire is lethal. That's going to eliminate the Charger there. Could there be a proxy boom, though? Well, it was onto Rochelle, but she is already boomed anyway, so that's not going to be too problematic. They're looking to chase this tank down, actually, and get some chip on him, which I do agree. I think that's the wise decision, but they haven't managed as much chip as their counterpart. In the previous rounds, Luckyglock managed around 900 chip damage. However, in terms of frag4, they have managed around about 500 rounded up. 450 exactly, actually. So a slightly better result for Luckyglock, but they do have to just make sure that they make these dumpsters count, though, because that is essentially what both of these tanks are going to do for obvious reasons. And that dumpster there is in an interesting location. That's just going to be the Charger getting rid of his spawn. They don't really want a Charger in this particular tank fight, which I do agree with, actually. And I see in the chat, yeah, this is definitely home and away, guys. This is something I'm very, very, very much looking forward to. It's intending to be a home and away. Right now, we are on the United States server, and we will be moving onto the European server after this installment. So Tank is going to be making his way in with the dumpster, trying to get an in-cap onto somebody. Can't manage it, though. Is going to be transitioning onto Punches. Punches once and twice onto Nick, thanks to the smoker. I think the distance between him and the tank has been created, though. He can't really do a heck of a lot here. He's going to look for the dumpster, and that just barely misses Rochelle there behind the tree. But all in all, the tank is going to fall to frag4, who actually didn't even suffer an in-cap. So actually, in terms of, comparing the two performances, frag4 have actually outshined their opponents here. And they have not suffered a single in-cap, and therefore their health bonus is very high. Boomer rockets in, but no problems whatsoever. 0.3 seconds is all it took for Wrist Burner there to clear that rocket boomer. Very fast reaction times, and very good. Very well played by them. Charger, Smoker, and a Spitter. The final spawn is going to be either a Jockey or a Hunter, so it's going to be a tri-cap with the Spitter. Ends up being a Jockey, so it's a Smoker, Charger, and a Jockey. In the indoor area, Jockey lands first onto Coach, followed by the Charger, followed by the Spitter. Oh my goodness, this is lethal. This is a very bad result for frag4, but an incredible result for Luckyglock here. Look at that infected gameplay there. That was very well played by the Jockey. Capitalization with the Charger and the Spitter. Everybody piled onto Coach. And speaking of suffering an in-cap, well, they sure as heck suffered an in-cap there. So there we have it. They now have the crescendo to endure as well. So let's just see how they fare in this crescendo here, which they will be taking at this staircase, same as always. Jockey is spawning up with the Smoker. Smoker misses the tongue. Boom onto 3 survivors. Hunter is moving in, gets the pounce, and a little bit of stumbling, but there's no Spitter, unfortunately for them. That could have been a good opportunity for a Spitter, but they didn't have one. And survivors are now going to be making their way into the open area, and they're just going to simply continue moving forward. They have nothing to slow them down right now. The majority of the horde is actually behind the survivors as we speak. And the more there is behind you, the less there is in front of you, as a general rule. But eventually they are going to catch up to you, though. So it's a risky endeavor. Safe room is right there, though, and they are directly outside of it. One more attack remains for Luckyglock. Let's just see if they can make it count as much as they did with that last attack. I mean, they're right outside the safe room, so let's just see what happens. It is a Boomer Spitter combination, and speaking of Boomer, and he's shut down, as is the Jockey. Charger, well, he can do absolutely nothing. Really, he's just simply going to charge and get himself shut down. So frag4 will make it into the safe room, but they don't quite manage, simply because of that fantastic attack indoors. They haven't managed to take the lead here in this first chapter. And that is all down to that incredible attack with the Jockey, with the Charger, and with the Spitter. So very, very well played by Luckyglock. Otherwise, if not for that, they would have been behind by now. So well played to Luckyglock to secure the... I mean, it's not really much of a margin, but it's at least something. You know, it's moralizing at the very least. 948 points in the hands of Luckyglock. 916 points in the hands of frag4. We are looking at such a minimal point gap between these two teams, and already I can see exactly how this is going to pan out, and it's going to pan out quite brilliantly, I would say. Let's just see how it continues to pan out, but my goodness, this is going to be an interesting match to see unfold. Just going to be waiting for a few more players to ready up, and we shall be going live. So once again, to everybody, welcome to this Quarantine Cup installment. We are in round 3 of the double elimination stages. This is the winner bracket fixture between Luckyglock and frag4. And we are now going live into the second chapter here. Boomer, Charger, Smoker, and a Jockey is what frag4 have to work with here. Survivors being in the tunnel. There's no spitter though, so the indoor area isn't quite the best situation. They're more so going to be using the Smoker for some separation, and they're going to try to intercept from it. That is my guess anyway. Rochelle is taking the front position here. All survivors moving out in unison. Smoker first. Charger moves in the back, actually. Very nice Charger. That's an incredible separation. But speaking of incredible, though, that is also incredible clearing by the survivors. That was very good separation by the Charger, but it amounted to so little because of the just phenomenal clears from Luckyglock. And, well, I'm telling you, these guys ain't lucky. They are here for a reason. They are very, very good, as are their opponents, though, so they have to be careful. And Hunter is moving in. They're just climbing down the ladder as we speak. And that's going to be a boom followed by a spit. And the damage actually is considerable. And that's going to be a Hunter moving in for Ellis as well and gets a little bit more. So, and then the Smoker again. So they're actually piling in the damage a little bit here. And that's an interesting turn of events. So now the survivors, although they're in reasonable health, they have actually taken a considerable amount of damage each. They're all in the 70 to 80 HP range. So it's a reasonable result for frag4. They have yet to play their tank as well, so all of the damage they do beforehand is going to count here. Jockey is pre-spawned just to simply be a nuisance and make some noise. It is a Charger, Jockey, Smoker tricap with the Boomer. Boomer vomits straight away on the ladder and gets 2 survivors with it. Not really going to trouble the survivors too much, though. They are just simply going to clear the common infected. None of them are bleeding, so there's no real risk as such. Survivors are moving onwards and upwards. Smoker tongue is cut, though. That's going to be a charge on the ladder. That's going to be a Smoker landing onto Bill. Nick, excuse me. That's going to be a quad boom as well. The damage, woo, this is lethal. I have to say, you've got to take your hat off to frag4, although I'm not taking my hat off, speaking of that, actually. That's going to be the tanks spawning as well, so look at the damage, though. That is incredible. Very, very well played by frag4. That ladder choke point is nothing to mess with, and, well, as we saw with our own eyes there, ladies and gentlemen, that was a significant punishment they took there at that. It's going to be a nice skeet on the Hunter, followed by a on essentially everything else. Well played again by Luckyglock, though. They are still, despite what they have taken, they're still willing to give some as well. So let's just see how this tank fight plays out. The tank is ready and waiting round the corner in front of the survivors. There is going to be a Smoker, Boomer, and a Hunter to be aware of, which they do very much need to be aware of it, especially the Boomer. Smoker spawning up first, going to look to get the pull to set up the first punch, but can't get the connection, and the survivors are going to continue moving backward. Hunter gets a stumble, which could prove useful. That's going to be a punch onto Coach there, but that's a lot of distance created. He's spreading the damage really well here, actually, and sometimes this is the right thing to do, just simply punch many different people rather than just one, and Curve Rock is unsuccessful, unfortunately, for the tank. He has no choice but to evacuate the premises, really. Curve Rock round the corner is unsuccessful onto Coach, of whom is playing quite aggressively here. He's pushing the tank. Jockey is spawning up, looking to move in here. He's behind the pipe. He's going to be repositioning. So we are looking at a tank on pass number 2, 20%, and 700 HP as well. So, well, I mean, yeah, he's taking fire, but there's not really much he can do, honestly, besides just try to keep them where they are. 5%, he's going to have to simply send it AI and wish it the best of luck, which it's not going to have any. It is going to be falling to Luckyglock there. So 2 survivors on permanent HP and 2 survivors on temporary HP. So it's kind of a 50-50 situation in terms of how it went. Overall, well played to both sides. The tank did spread the damage very well there, but we are going to be looking at an attack here. This is a Spitter with a Hunter, Jockey, Charger, Tricap. Hunter is going to be looking to move in, gets the pounce onto Rochelle. There is no success from the Charger, though. To be honest, the Spit as well was a little bit misplaced because Rochelle was hunted and she is permanent HP, so she is an important target, and the Spitter perhaps could have gone for her there, actually. But all in all, well played so far. Survivors are doing a pretty good job here, all things considered. I mean, they are against frag4 after all, and that is a very, very strong opposition to be facing. And then again, so is Luckyglock, so we have an exciting game on our hands. That is an unsuccessful boomer, though. From behind the rock, he's going to get himself popped there, so that's not the best of luck for frag4. They're either going to attack now or they're going to wait for the final spawn. I presume they're going to wait for the final spawn, which would make the most sense. 7 seconds on the clock for that. It could end up being a quad cap as well. And this is a crescendo, so it's obviously a perfect place for a quad cap, and it is indeed a quad cap during a crescendo. So let's just see how they pull it off here. Hunter's position is given away a little bit early, but Smoker is going to land. Jockey will be shut down though, and unfortunately most of the spawns there were unsuccessful. There's been some damage across the board though, and Rochelle is not going to take her pain pills because she's not really in a huge need. I mean, yeah, sure, they are going to be a little bit slower, but at the end of the day, it is worth it because they're going to make it into the safe room with the added health bonus that the pills are going to give. And, well, I mean, 4 times 102 equals a lot. And they have made it into the safe room here, securing themselves 1,856 points. As we transition into the second half of the second chapter of Open Road. The infamous Open Road custom map here. This is going to be, again, frag4's attempt at Survivor. And they did, for sure, show us what they're made of in terms of last round. They really did play very well. It's just one unfortunate attack caught them off guard. But overall, they are doing pretty well. And we shall be going live here in the second half of the second chapter, ladies and gentlemen. Jockey, Charger, and a Smoker with a Boomer is going to be the setup. I presume it will be executed similarly to the last time, where it's going to be focused mainly around intercepting. There's probably going to be some attempts to intercept whatever the Smoker grabs, essentially. So let's just see how this unfolds here. The Boomer will be key as well. Survivors being patient, taking no risks, making sure that all the common infected are dealt with. Because even as much as one common infected hitting you at the wrong time can be devastating. Boomer's going to be getting a boom onto 2 survivors. Charger is not successful, and even with the help of the Smoker, he's still not too successful. So that's going to be an instant Smoker, which, well, I mean, that's some consolation damage, some very unexpected damage, but nonetheless, there we have it. That was a very good instant smoke there, and that's going to be some damage onto Coach, but all in all, Survivors are going to be continuing here. They do have this ladder to get down. Let's see if they can get down in time. Nice one-shot ski on the ladder there by, wow, by Dave there. That was incredible. That's going to be the Charger moving in with the Spitter. He's going to be looking for some scratches. He does get several scratches onto Coach, and it's continuing. I mean, if you're Coach, the appropriate word would be ouch, because that is a lot of damage onto Coach there. Very unfortunate for Wrist Burner, but, you know, got to make do. And every now and then, Luckyglock, they've pulled out some pretty good attacks this installment so far. Very good special infected gameplay, but, you know, you gotta have very good infected gameplay if you want to take out frag4. It's not an easy task whatsoever. Smoker, Hunter, and a Jockey with a Boomer, so there's no Charger for this particular tri-cap. Neither is there a Spitter as well, but to be honest, with a ladder choke point, you'd rather a Boomer. That's going to be Ellis just clearing some common infected here, just making sure that they don't run into too unnecessary danger. Boomer is going to vomit onto 1 survivor. Hunter is patiently waiting on the lamp post there. He's going to be looking for a 25 damage pounce here, which I'm sure he can get, so long as the distraction is good enough. That is going to be 5 seconds remaining as well for the final spawn, which could end up being a Charger and therefore quad cap. Although it ends up being a Spitter, Hunter moving in. Nice 25 damage pounce. Ramirez just absolutely obliterating the health of Ellis there with a very nice 25 damage pounce. That's going to be the tank spawning up as well. So overall, well played from the essentially the special infected collectively. Very, very good. Very, very good stuff. Survivors are going to be retreating here. They're going to be going back to the same location. They have a Boomer, Jockey, and Charger, all of which is moving in. Boomer is unsuccessful, though, and that's a good result for frag4. Jockey is moving in, is dead stopped and killed. The Charger didn't really make much happen either, so, you know, positive result so far for frag4, but, you know, they need to be careful of Coach and Ellis here. And they also need to make sure that they protect Nick and Rochelle, because they are in possession of a large amount of their health bonus. So they are going to be important to the squad here. There's going to be a very nice Boomer spawn onto 2 survivors. Tank is going to move in straight away off of that. Smoker is as well. Onto Nick, followed by the punch. That's going to be a guaranteed in-cap onto Nick, of which is very separated as well. Of whom, excuse me. That's going to be the tank moving in as well as the Smoker, which he does get a punch off of it. That's going to be another punch. Just missed, unfortunately, for him. And that is going to be the shutdown of the tank. And it's not really going to be resulting in any deaths or anything. But I have to say, frag4 have seen better days. That is for sure. They are... It's not as if they're playing badly, but it's just Luckyglock are really on fire right now, I have to say. And they played that tank fight very well. They made good use of the Smoker, and that was a very, very nice Boomer spawn. So all in all, well played. But frag4, they live to see another day. There's 2 survivors up, 2 survivors down. Not really going to be a problem for them, though. Spit is going to fade away. Jockey is moving in. Lands onto Nick very nicely, followed by the interception with the Boomer. And that is going to be such... Wow. So well played, I have to say. Luckyglock, as I've said, their special infected gameplay is just brilliant. It really is. It is a thing of beauty in cases like that, with that Jockey that got the last person climbing the ladder, followed by the Boomer that intercepted the Jockey. That is a thing of beauty, I have to say. Survivors looking a little bit worse for wear here. They're going to consume their final set of pain pills. And they have suffered 1 in-cap in total, but, I mean, that doesn't sound like they've suffered a lot, but they really have. That's going to be a Smoker in the back, Charger in the front. Smoke onto Nick is successful, just for a brief period, but will be shut down. The Boomer is shut down, so in terms of delay, they're not going to be delayed very much. However, they do have the upcoming Crescendo, I believe, if I'm not mistaken. It's going to be a Spitter, and only a Spitter. Need to wait 4 more seconds before the final spawns here. It's going to be a Jockey, Charger, Hunter, and a Spitter. That's not the setup that you want to be facing in this particular area. That could prove to be lethal. Let's just see how the survivors deal with it. It's going to be the Hunter shut down very nicely, though, actually. So that's a good start for frag4. Very well played. Charger is moving in, but the Focus Fire should deal with him, and it does indeed deal with him. And the Jockey is going to be dealt with as well. They do find another set of pain pills. However, 2 more of them actually need pain pills because they're currently slow. So in terms of this game in general, you can only really move as fast as your slowest survivor, basically. That's going to be a nice dead stop on the Boomer, though. Very well played by Luckyglock to shut down that Boomer, and that's going to allow them to keep moving forward. There's going to be a Smoke in the back. Easily cleared, though. Jockey landing, followed by the Hunter, both onto Ellis. Smoker onto Rochelle is denied very quickly again, and that Smoker is having no luck whatsoever. And frag4 are going to be traversing this car alarm without triggering it, and they do have the safe room right in front of them. They have a Charger to deal with, but that's all they have to deal with, and if they make it into the safe room in time, well, the Charger doesn't actually get to them anyway. So, here we have it, ladies and gentlemen. This is the first half of this particular installment where we are on the United States located server. Luckyglock playing on the home advantage here. And we're going to be moving into the 3rd chapter of Open Road here with 1,856 points in the hands of Luckyglock versus 1,596 points in the hands of the slightly trailing frag4, but they're still very much in this game, and they are still very much a force to be reckoned with. And as we move into this third chapter, we're going to be continuing to see what these two teams have to offer. Only a few more people to wait on before we go live here. So hopefully everybody is having a good day. And very much appreciate you tuning in, of course, as always. It's always a pleasure to bring these broadcasts to you all. And we are live in the third chapter. That's going to be a Hunter Smoker Charger with the Boomer. So it's going to be a tri-cap with a Boomer. Let's just see how they can pull it off here. It's going to be very dependent on them working together here. They're going to need to probably go for the same target, to be honest. Boomer on the rooftop spawns up, but they can shoot through that roof and they annihilate him. That's going to be a nice separation smoker, but that's unfortunately the only real nice thing about it. In terms of niceness, on the other hand, though, they skeeted the Hunter, Luckyglock, that is, and yeah, very well played by them. No difficulty traversing the alarm car as well. They're going to be heading into the indoor area and continuing their progression. But again, crescendo time. And therefore, they are going to have to be facing a horde as that door is indeed alarmed. Jockey, Hunter, Boomer, Spitter is what the attack is going to be here. Jockey moves in, is shut down. Hunter as well. Skeeted so nicely. I mean, this ping advantage is... You know, I mean, it's not the only reason, but it definitely helps. And they are putting that ping advantage to good use here. These Hunters are just not seeing the light of day whatsoever. So very well played so far by Luckyglock. They are in a very good position, including Ellis, who is actually on 100 HP right now. So he is literally on perfect HP. Smoker's going to be moving in, but the tongue is cut. That's going to be a charge onto Coach. That's going to be a Smoker shutdown. And, well, unfortunately, there's not really much hope for that attack. That's going to be the Boomer by himself. And I don't really think he's going to be looking to attack here. He's more than likely going to be waiting. Oh, he does actually choose to rocket in and gets the boom. I'm surprised he managed that, actually. That was well played. So that's going to be a boom onto two survivors. That's going to be a Hunter, Spitter, and a Jockey as well to work with the boom. Let's see if they do. The Hunter moves in. One-shot skeet by Spirit, though. That is going to be... just an absolutely brilliant shutdown by Luckyglock there. Very well played with the one-shot skeet there. That's going to be a charger, and only the charger so far. Tank is going to spawn for frag4 here, so Luckyglock have to be very careful, of course, because, you know, they have to remember who they're up against and how easy it could be to lose this lead. So they have to be so very careful here. Tank is right behind the survivors. Smoker gets a nice separation smoke. That's going to be a triple boom. Tank is going to go in straight away, no questions asked. He's going to be looking for the first pin here, and he finds it onto Rochelle. That's several punches onto her. She can't go anywhere, so she's going down straight away. That's one in cap, and he's only half HP as well, so it's reasonable right now. He's going to get the pin onto Coach. This boom is working in their favor. The dual cap is not possible, though. The headshots from the Uzi is brilliant. Again, I mean, this game is just a thing of brilliance. Very well played to shut down that Hunter in that precise moment there. Otherwise, that could have been a dual cap, and that could have been this round over. But Luckyglock pulled it out of the bag with that skeet on the Hunter, which was absolutely phenomenal, might I say. So, wow. Very well played by Luckyglock there, despite the fact that they did take two in caps, though. And they have to be careful now. They have a charger, Spitter, which is moving in. They're looking for the right target. They can't quite find it, though, and the Boomer has no luck either. He is shut down in 0.4 seconds. So all in all, there's a Jockey just moving back for a respawn there. But yes, all in all, it's kind of it's looking good for Luckyglock so far as well, because they have actually found 2 sets of pain pills. And that's going to be very much in their favor because 2 people are currently bleeding, which means that their health is gradually declining. Smoker, Jockey, Hunter is going to be the tri-cap. There's not going to be a charger. There's going to be a Boomer to finish off the tri-cap as well. So let's just see how they play it here. There is going to be this balcony drop-down choke point just by this this little green muscle car here. Coach drops down. Everybody drops down. Everybody but one. Ellis. That boomer is unsuccessful. Nice one-shot skeet by Ramirez. Again, that's going to be a triple boom, though. Very nice triple boom. Right in the middle of everybody. But Ramirez with the one-shot skeet there. No problems and no questions asked. Just absolutely obliterated. So it was a good boom, but the delay is not really there because not really much else happened. The safe room isn't too far away as well. It's a few steps away, really. So they have to make this attack count here. Frag4, that is. Smoker, Hunter, and a Charger is the tri-cap with the Spitter. It's an open area. There's going to be a Hunter wall kicking in. Can't make the first connection, though. And is skeeted again in one shot, this time by Nevermore. That's going to be the Spitter looking to get some delay. And the Spitter does get some delay at the very least. But I guess it's, you know, Ramirez got the one-shot skeet. Now it's time for Nevermore to show off. And yeah, these guys are playing out of their minds right now. And the safe room, as I say, is very close. And they will be making their way into it. No problems. 3,228 points in the hands of Luckyglock here. And now it's all up to frag4 to try to close this gap here. They are on a way at disadvantage, but they're on around about 100 ping, so it's not the worst, but it still is somewhat of a disadvantage at least. So let's just see what unfolds in this this half of the chapter. Let's just see if frag4 can manage to close this point difference, because at the moment it's looking a little bit scary in terms of frag4. They're more than capable, of course, but we just have to see it because at the moment they are behind by a considerable amount. So all in all, let's just see how this unfolds. We are going to be going live here. Ramirez will be playing the tank in the hands of a Luckyglock. Going to be a Charger, Smoker, and a Hunter tri-cap with the Boomer, same as always. The first attack is always the same for both sides. They're going to be looking for that Smoker separation, I can guarantee it, with the Hunter and Charger interception. Let's just see how they play this attack here. The Boomer is patiently waiting above the survivors on the rooftop in front of them. Only one survivor of frag4 is out just yet, that just being Coach. He is positioned on the truck. That's going to be the Hunter pouncing around. Smoker onto Ellis is shut down. Charger is also going to be shut down. Well, actually, very well shut down, to be honest. He was right in the face of Coach, but they shut him down before he could get some scratches. So very well played by frag4 there. Very fast clears, and overall, that's going to allow them to get past that alarm car, which they have triggered. Interestingly, but then again, it's not really going to make much of a difference because they have a crescendo anyway. So I just forgot about that. That is going to be the Jockey and Charger spawning up. Jockey is going to be moving in. Charger is unsuccessful, and therefore so is the Spitter. Maybe the Spitter could have been a bit more patient, honestly, and waited for the Hunter, because they still do have that Hunter. And he's going for scratches. He gets one scratch before he is shut down. Got a question in the chat. Are you a Viking, Haraldsson? No, I'm from the United Kingdom, England. My real name is Harry, and I adapted it to become Haraldsson. Basically, that's the story behind my name. The end. That's going to be a Charger, Smoker, Jockey with a Boomer. It's going to be the Smoker moving in first. Charger is unsuccessful. Gets a stumble onto Nick. Can't manage any scratches, but the damage onto Coach specifically is pretty good. So welcome everybody. I can occasionally read the chat, so if you'd like to say hi, then you're more than welcome. As long as I can see it, of course. Generally, I'm quite focused on the game, so I can't always check it, but I will do my best to check it as much as I can. Jockey, Smoker, Hunter is going to be the tri-cap with the Spitter. So they have no Charger to work with, but they do have the Hunt-Spit combination. And the Jockey can make something happen as well, because a Jockey and the Spit is also quite devastating. And that is a pre-spawned Hunter there to the left of the survivors if you're looking forward. It's going to be looking to go for these survivors. Tank is going to be spawning. Smoker from the rooftop goes on to Ellis, but is shut down very quickly. Then again, that was the person becoming the Tank. Tank is going to be moving in here, potentially straight for the survivors. He does indeed move straight for them. As a Hunter onto Coach will be cleared. He lands a punch onto Nick, followed by Rochelle. He's spreading the damage somewhat, but I mean, he probably is going to be shut down pretty soon here. Several punches, though, at the very least, but no in-caps, and the Tank is now going to eventually fall. So the damage is very good, don't get me wrong, but honestly, I would consider that to be a victory in terms of frag4, because they have suffered no in-caps. They have no need to take any pain pills just yet, and they have come out of that relatively well, all things considered. That's going to be a boom onto 2 survivors. Charger is successful, actually, onto Coach. No Spitter to work with it, but my goodness, look at this damage, and look at the Smoker, the everything. That is a ruthless attack, and, well, I was saying earlier that they're in a good position, but not so much now. Luckyglock's infected gameplay is, well, my goodness. It is pretty darn good. Jockey and a Spitter with a Charger and a Boomer, so it's a 2-2 for the Special Infected here. Jockey is moving in. His position is given away. He is shut down with ease. That is going to be a successful Charger, followed by the Spit onto Ellis. And, well, guess what? Ellis is the highest health bonus of everybody. So he was the perfect person to get. And all in all, Luckyglock, they definitely have a very strong Special Infected gameplay. I'm sure we can all agree on that fact. This Luckyglock Special Infected gameplay is pretty good. However, Safe Room is just there. That's going to be a nice one-shot skeet from Wristburner. Now it's frag4's turn to show off with the skeets there. That was a very nice skeet. In fact, he was actually pressured with the Boomer and all sorts. So, very nice skeet by him. Survivors will make it into the Safe Room here. And we are going to be looking at 3,228 points in the hands of Luckyglock and 2,704 points in the hands of frag4 here. So once again, welcome to all. Very happy to be able to commentate this match. This is one of those matches I've been looking forward to. So very honoured to be able to be here. And a warm welcome to everybody who has tuned in. Excuse me, I was fumbling on my words there. And it does appear that I am loading very slowly as well. But yes, we are currently looking at around about 500 points. Rounded up to the nearest 100, there's about 500 points separating these two teams here. And these ready-ups are very fast as well. Just one more person that we're waiting on, and this is going to be the 4th chapter, which is going to be the final chapter of this part of the match, and then we'll be moving onto the European-based server. But for now, some more action from the North American-based server, which Luckyglock are taking full advantage of. That is for sure. Playing very, very well here. We shall be going live here. Going to be dealing with a Charger, Jockey, and Smoker, along with a Spitter. Jockey is spawning up above the Safe Room. They baited the Smoker Tongue, and they've given away the location of every Special Infected, so they know where everything is, and that is advantageous for Luckyglock, but it's just dependent on what else they can do. Nice Jockey, though. That's round the corner. Charger interception is not quite there, though, but all in all, it's okay damage. It could have been better, but it's a step in the right direction. And I have to say, in terms of Special Infected, I would say that frag4 have been slightly trailing this game. So that is a step in the right direction, and obviously for the sake of frag4, let's just hope that they can switch on their Special Infected gameplay. That's going to be a Boomer, shut down so well, though, by Luckyglock. I mean, speaking of success, that is not too successful if you are frag4 here. Tank is just lurking around. He has the high ground here, and he's going to be throwing some rocks. But they are very aware of them, and they shouldn't be too troublesome. So tank is on pass number 1, 55%. They're trying the long route. That's going to be the rock. Unfortunately, hits the tree instead of a survivor there, so that's not good news for them. Tank has just taken about 100 damage, so he's not in the worst shape, but he is on pass number 2, and it is gradually declining as well. 75%, now down to 60%. Pass number 2, he is having no other option but to move in here. Going to be looking for the first pin here is the tank. That's going to be a smoker looking for the separation onto Coach, which is successful. Very well played. That's going to be a jockey and a hunter, both landing all at once. Ladies and gentlemen, we could be looking at a wipe here. The punch, unfortunately, is going to lead to a clear. That was, but still, I mean, very good damage at the least. That could be an in-cap onto Ellis as well. There is indeed an in-cap. That's a separation jockey still wreaking havoc onto Rochelle, and the tank is being chased down, probably to his death, potentially. Oh no, it's not actually. And Rochelle is very, very far away from her teammates there. So if the special infected end up getting a hunter, they can finish her off. But Luckyglock are aware of this, and they are moving in. They're just simply piling in on Rochelle here, the charger jockey, the common infected, the boomer, everything. They just want to make sure that Rochelle ends up dying. They are intercepting to try to secure the death, and they are just so close, but yet so far. And unfortunately, with no special infected remaining, they are actually going to revive Rochelle, Luckyglock. So that was tense, and that was clutch. But all in all, well played to Luckyglock. But we are only at 25% here, and the damage that Luckyglock have taken is significant, and that's going to be a Hunter, Spitter, and Smoker all working together to get that damage onto Ellis there. They have one more set of pain pills, and they're probably going to be giving it to Ellis, I imagine. And he's probably even going to take it as well. Yeah, he is indeed going to take them, because the safe room is a little bit too far away to kind of, you know, risk saving them. Not to mention he is bleeding anyway, so he kind of has to at some point. We do have this bridge choke point coming up here with a charger, and that charger's probably going to look to go in here, which he does indeed do so with the jockey. He can't get a connection though, and therefore neither can the Spitter. Oh, actually, no, the Spitter can because of the Hunter. So that's some damage at least again onto Ellis. They seem to be focusing Ellis a little bit here, at least in the last 2 attacks. But all in all, Luckyglock are in a reasonable position. Not the greatest though, I will grant you. And frag4 do have some other opportunities here. Well, plenty more opportunities. 60% of the map. Smoker is unfortunately caught off guard though, and will be shut down very easily. That is a charger boomer jockey, and they are by themselves. They have been abandoned by the Smoker, who unfortunately is no longer around, but that is going to be a shutdown on the boomer as well from Luckyglock. Jockey is moving in, but he gets shut down so easily, and there you have it. Well, a charger and a hunter are up, but we have to wait 13 seconds before the final spawns, and they're going to have to start making these attacks count here, because the safe room is coming up. They're at 75% of the map, so it's not drastically far away, really. Hunter, charger, and a smoker is the tri-cap with the Spitter. Charger was looking for a spawn behind the tree there. He's still looking for it. He could even get it, actually. He's got the right angle. He is indeed going for it. Can't land the connection, but the Hunter can. But without the Spitter. The Spitter unfortunately got the spit incredibly wrong. Spat on the wrong side of the fence altogether. And, well, due to that misfortune, the damage is limited, and the survivors will continue to move forward here as they go over this kind of, this little bridge. It's going to be a boomer and a jockey. Survivors at 93% of the map, so, you know, not too far to go, really. This attack has to count, and the charger is spawning up first and foremost. Boomer is shut down, though. And, I mean, that grace period between spawning and vomiting, that's going to be the jockey moving in, but gets shut down, as does the charger and the hunter. Just phenomenal shutdowns overall across the board from Luckyglock, and they are going to make their way into the safe room here, securing themselves 4,280 points here. ladies and gentlemen.
This is some grim shit we got ourselves into.
Okay, hang on.
And that is going to be 2,704 points in the hands of frag4, who are now taking the survivor side. So let's just see what they can manage here. They have a lot of pressure now, to be honest, because they do need to cover this point margin. At the moment, oh dear, ladies and gentlemen, I have crashed. I am back. There we are. Okay, sorry about that, guys. I did crash for a brief period there, but I am back, so I'm not going anywhere. That's going to be a jockey, charger, and a smoker with the spitter for this attack here. That's going to be a smoker shut down so easily, though, and therefore the remaining spawns. That's going to be a jockey moving in, tries to get some separation, but can't quite manage it. He's round the corner there, going to be caught off guard and shut down so well by Coach there, and as is essentially everything else. So overall, very, very well played by frag4. They took 0 damage, and everybody is on 100 HP. So, as you can see, they are definitely taking this very seriously, and of course you would. It's going to be a tank spawning here. And unfortunately, the person who had the boomer became the tank, so they no longer have a boomer. They have a jockey, smoker, and a hunter. But they do have time to sack spawns if they want to as well. If they would like to replace any of the current spawns they have, they are welcome to do so, because the tank has only just spawned. However, it's looking like they might be going in straight away with the tank. Smoker's looking for the setup, but he can't quite get it, which could be bad news actually for this tank. He is taking a lot of damage. That's the first punch onto Nick. Jockey is dead stops and shut down. Hunter is cleared. Several punches going to be landing onto Coach in the corner there, but it's up to the survivors to focus fire him, possibly even before the in-cap. Yes, indeed, before the in-cap. That is, I mean, they are going to in-cap him anyway, but still very well played by the survivor side. They are going to intentionally in-cap Coach simply because when you are revived, you get 30 temporary HP, which is better than 2 permanent HP, for sure. And then he takes his pain pills as well and increases it by 50, all the way up to 80. So overall, it is the right decision to do. Boomer and a spitter with the charger and jockey. So it's a 2-2. And, well, the boomer is shut down in 0.7 seconds. And with the boomer, when you spawn, there is a 1 second grace period where you're not able to vomit. You actually have to wait a full second before you can vomit. So that is essentially why it's an insta-clear, basically. If it's before 1 second, then it's an insta-clear. That's going to be replaced with a hunter, though, so that's charger, jockey, hunter, all moving in. Charger is unsuccessful, so is the hunter. Very nice shutdowns across the board. That is going to be very well played, and the delay spit is good at least, but other than that, frag4 are in a very good position right now, and they are looking to close this point difference before we move into the European server here. Got to give them props, for sure, because they are currently on the away disadvantage, but it doesn't feel like it a lot of the times with these very fast shutdowns, these reaction times and all sorts. That's a boomer onto one survivor. Smoker is unable to get Coach, though. There is a tri-cap. That is a hunter, smoker, and a charger. Hunter is moving in first. Smoker, oh my goodness, that is a triple charge, and that is significant damage across the board. Well, I mean, onto Nick specifically, not across the board, really. But that was nearly a quad charge, actually. They shut the charger down at the perfect time. Because had that have been a full... Well, let's just say they came out. So they came out of that better than it could have gone, let's just say. They shut down that charger very well. That's going to be a boomer and a spitter with the hunter and jockey, so it's a 2-2. And perhaps not the best 2-2 as well, really. Very open area. And, well, when you have a hunter and you're against a shotgun-heavy frag4 squad, then you better be scared, because your chances of landing are not hugely high. Then again, double boom. Hunter is going to be moving in, but is shut down, though. That is going to be a very nice jockey onto Ellis. Not Ellis, excuse me. Coach. but he is temporary HP, and therefore he is not really the biggest concern. He is not the health bonus. The health bonus is going to be the other three, that being Nick, Rochelle, and Ellis. They are in possession of the health bonus.
Reloading.
Going to be making their way past these fences here. That's going to be a Charger, Smoker, Hunter, and a Boomer. It's a decent tri-cap. Let's see how they can make it. Work. Hunter is pre-spawned. Just kind of just scouting around, assessing his options. Going to be looking to go from behind these survivors here. He's behind the truck. On the ladder there. Very patient gameplay though by the survivors, and of course you would be patient, especially in a choke point. Coach has chosen not to take his pain pills just yet. Hunter is moving in from behind, and the Charger is rocketing in. Nice double boom. Charger is going to get the connection as well as the Hunter onto Ellis in the back. Fast clears, very, very fast clears in fact, but that's a good smoker again onto Coach, which means that the damage is being inflicted onto Coach, and he's not really the target, but still the damage is adding up. It's just there's not really much more they can do because the safe room is not too far away, and there's only one more attack really that they have. Luckyglock here, so let's just see how they can make this count. Boomer gets a boom onto two survivors. Jockey is going to land onto Coach, followed by the spit again onto Coach, but he is black and white, so that could be the right decision. I mean, he's not going to die from it though, so unfortunately the Jockey couldn't really make much more happen there. And well, Coach is black and white, and that would mean that he would have died if that went a little bit better, but overall these survivors are going to make it into the... Savant's taken the lead, but they have managed to kind of close the points gap a little bit here. So 4,280 points in the hands of the currently ahead Luckyglock versus 3,960 points in the hands of the currently just barely trailing frag4 squad. So thank you once again to everybody tuning in. I see we have around about 87 viewers at this current point of reading. Oh, now it's 90. So welcome everybody. Hope you're having a good time in this installment here on this open road installment, where we are going to be seeing how exactly this here is going to unfold. This is a cane field. And if we know anything about hard rain, then we know that cane fields can be pretty devastating. So let's just see how the cane field is capitalized on by the special infected. It's going to be a Charger, Jockey, Hunter, and a Spitter. And honestly, that's not the worst setup. I maybe would prefer a Boomer instead of a Spitter. But all in all, it's not the worst setup. It's going to be the Jockey spawning up first and foremost. Charger moving in. There's going to be a 1 damage pounce. That's going to be several... Oh, everybody is pinned in the spit, basically. And that is going to be very good damage. Very well played on that attack. And you got to give props, to be honest. frag4, very well played there. That was a very well executed attack. And it could have been better with the Spitter. The Spitter was a little bit late, I would say, but still, even with that in mind, very good attack by frag4, and that is a sign of things to come. So Luckyglock need to be careful here. Smoker, Charger, Hunter, and a Boomer. Now this is the setup it would have been better, I think, if this was in the previous one. That's going to be a boom onto two survivors. That's going to be a Hunter skeeted in one shot by Spirit. That's going to be an interception Charger, which isn't successful, but it did allow for some damage onto Ellis at least. So overall, very well played, and we are going to be... And do you know what as well? I'm so happy to see the finale as well. Completely unexpected, but surprise, we are playing the finale, so... I am very happy to see this, and this is pretty good. Hunter, Jockey, Boomer, and a Spitter. Jockey is moving in, but gets shut down very easily, as does the Hunter by the focus fire. That's going to be a quad boom, but I mean, quad booms are great and all, but by itself, not great, you know? It's, so, the survivors do have replacement pain pills. There's 2 of them just outside. On that kind of like that light blue kind of like boxes. Well, boxes which are covered with that light blue kind of thingy-mabob. That's going to be a jockey spawning up there, as well as a hunter and a jockey. It's going to be a quad cap attempt, but the charger is unsuccessful. Hunter is shut down so effortlessly, and well, I mean, Luckyglock have taken a lot of damage here, but they're playing reasonably well, all things considered. And frag4 are continuing to keep the pressure up, and they are doing pretty well, especially when we look at Coach's HP, because Coach has taken a lot of damage here. Spitter is going to be moving in to get rid of the spawn in readiness for this tank fight here, as the tank does spawn. Going to be a charger, boomer, and a jockey. Tank is above the survivors on the bridge here. Going to be looking to throw some rocks onto an unsuspecting survivor. Can't quite get it though. He's going to be re-looking for it, but again, unsuccessful onto Rochelle there. They're going to be looking to break line of sight from the tank. Rock is traveling precariously, didn't quite land though. And Tank is going to continue to throw some rocks, but he does drop down for a brief period, and that costs him around about 700 HP, rounded up to the nearest 100. Yeah, round about that. So, unfortunate for him. He's going to continue the rocks though, and in they travel. That's a nice 10 damage pounce. That's a nice tri-cap as well. Very, very well played with the tri-cap. Unfortunately though, they are very well prepared for the rock that follows, and this tank is continuing to play long here as the survivors are looking a little bit worse for wear. They are not in the greatest position here, but let's just see how they can make this work. Tank actually has taken a lot of damage, and that is a good result. The rocks are being dealt with. Charger lands a very nice charge, as well as the boomer actually landing onto him. Tank is continuing the rocks. No rocks landed just yet. He's still trying though. And they're still traveling in, but the survivors are well aware of these rocks, and they haven't really been too troublesome. It's more the special infected. The special infected are troublesome, that's for sure, but the tank so far hasn't actually managed to land any rocks just yet. He's on his second pass as well, on pass number 2 on 30%, and it could decline even further as well, so he is going to have to make a decision here whether or not he wants to move in. 4,400 HP, he chooses to move in, he has no choice. It's going to be the boom onto one survivor. That's a decent result. Smoker is going to look to set up the punch, but the tank wasn't ready for it. Gets a punch onto Nick regardless though, looking to get another punch. That's going to be a nice hunter, followed by an interception rock, which doesn't quite land. They get the clear on the hunter, but the punch afterward is going to do some more damage. That is going to be the shutdown of the tank, but there's still more to endure. As we are on this finale here, ladies and gentlemen, to make things even more exciting, not to mention this is a very high level winner bracket installment, but we're also playing the finale, so it's kind of like almost like it's not even happening. It's something that I really love to see. That's going to be a boomer trying the boom, but is not quite successful. Neither is the charger, and therefore neither is the spitter. Overall, very well executed in terms of the survivors. They shut down the attack very well there. And they live to see another day, and they're in possession of 2 sets of pain pills here, but I have a feeling that they need a little bit more than that. I have a feeling that they do need more than 2. Ellis at the moment does definitely need a set, but depending on how the attacks go, let's see. That is a hunter landing onto Coach off the back of the smoker. Boomer is shut down, so they took some damage, but not too much, as long as I think really Nick and Ellis particularly are going to be taking these pills here. Let's just see what happens though. That's going to be the second tank, because as you may or may not be aware, on camping based crescendos or finales, excuse me, there are 2 tanks. So good luck to Luckyglock. They've shut down 1 tank, but at the cost of a lot of HP here. Hunter is pouncing around. And Charger is going to get a nice connection there. Rock is unsuccessful. There's going to be a Hunter landing and a Jockey landing. Everything landed, but the tank was unable to, speaking of landing, land a rock. Survivors are breaking line of sight very well here, actually, and they are trickling down that rage. 30% of pass number 1. They're now looking to get some chip onto him, and they manage 300, rounded up to the nearest 100. And that's going to increase up to 500, actually, so well played to them. That's going to be a Charger moving in for the Survivors. Gets a stumble through the wall there, but that's all she wrote for him. He's going to be looking for the scratches onto Nick. He gets 2 scratches onto Nick, and that's not great, have to say. Tank is continuing his attempts with these rocks, but he does have to move in here. He has no choice, and the Survivors haven't taken their pain pills just yet. They have to take them immediately, which they do, at least, and they're in the cane field, though. That's not a good place for a tank at all, and the Hunter is moving in with the Jockey, but the tank is going to be shut down so effortlessly by Luckyglock here, as is the Boomer. My goodness. What have these gentlemen eaten for breakfast this morning? This is very well played by Luckyglock to survive 2 tanks here, especially 2 tanks from frag4 as well. Like, frag4 being one of the best teams in the entire world, and they have survived 2 tanks from this opposition. That is incredible. Smoker, Charger, and a Hunter will be finished off with a Spitter, so they have a tri-cap with the Spitter. Hunter is moving in from behind. Just pouncing around and being a nuisance, slowing the Survivors down and just adding to their anxiety as the attack builds up. Hunter is in the tree here, just looking for interception. He's looking for the damage balance. Gets a 4 damage balance, which isn't too bad. That's going to be some spit damage as well. That will be a successful Charger and Smoker. A decent attack overall. And nobody is black and white just yet. That is actually their first in-cap, believe it or not. Very hard to believe, but that is actually their first in-cap. So, all in all, very well played by Luckyglock here. That is a pretty good performance overall, and they're going to be in that tour bus. And, well, as we can see, 5,384 points is what they're going to be sitting on here. And it is now up to frag4 to show us what they are made of in terms of this particular part. Why am I spectating somebody in ghost mode? That is so weird. Okay, there we are. So this is going to be the essentially frag4 really do have to make something happen here. You know, if they want to take the lead back here, they really do have to make it into that bus with a good with a reasonable health bonus. Really. So all in all, surviving 2 tanks from frag4 is something that Luckyglock are probably never going to forget, to be honest. And we shall be going live here in the second half of the final chapter here of this installment on this North American server, which will be moving on to Europe, after which Ramirez is going to be becoming the tank for Luckyglock. Survivors are patiently making their way out. There's going to be the Charger moving in. Nicely focused fired, though. That's going to be the Jockey landing temporarily. Spitter can't really make much happen, though. And Survivors are going to continue to progress forward here. Not really much to concern them. They did shut down the attack relatively well here. That's going to be a Smoker, a Charger, Boomer, and a Hunter. Boomer is dead stopped and shut down very nicely, though. So that's well played by the Survivor side so far. Hunter is going to be moving in, but dealt with so easily, as is the Charger after 1 scratch, and the Smoker doesn't have much luck either. So all in all, well played shutdown by frag4 here. They're in good health. Let's just see if they can maintain this. Going to be a boomer and a spitter, followed by a hunter and a jockey. As they make their way in. Unfortunately, the hunter is going to be landing in the spit, in the death spit specifically. That's going to be significant damage, and well, overall, not the frag4 there, especially in terms of Ellis. That is significant damage. Let's just see how they cope, though. Going to be a jockey, boomer, charger, and a smoker. Everything moving in. And it's going to be a smoker. The jockey getting some scratches. But all in all, the survivors are in reasonable health. They do shut down the rock very easily there. For some reason, my ping is 1000, by the way. For some reason. Am I lagging at all, by the way? I don't think I'm lagging on the stream, at least, but for some reason I have 1000 ping. That's weird. As a boomer hunt hands of the special infected. Boomer is getting the rocket boom onto one survivor. That's going to be the hunter shutdown. Rock is traveling in. Can't quite make the connection. Though I have to say that was very close. Similarly to their opponents, they are going to be breaking line of sight in the same place. Meanwhile, the tank is looking to try to maintain line of sight here. No luck just yet. Survivors are going to be hiding behind this this fence here. It's going to be a smoker, jockey, and a hunter. That's going to be a very nice shutdown on the jockey. That's going to be some pretty decent distraction. They can't quite land the rock, though, unfortunately. And that's for sure. It was very good distraction, but like I say, the rock was just not quite in the right place at the right time. And you know, it could be onto something. It could land something. You never know. Let's just see what happens. He is on pass number 2, though. 75% of it. Continuing to throw these rocks, but he is going to have to move in here, though. He has no option. Looking for the first pin, just about. Unfortunately, misses the first punch. Gets a nice double punch, though. Going to be a charger landing with the jockey as well. That's going to be an interception from the tank. It's not looking good for frag4 here, ladies and gentlemen. They are really suffering right now. That is going to be a curve rock onto Rochelle, which does end up landing as well. So, I mean, the tank isn't going to be alive for much longer. He is indeed going to be focus fired down. But my goodness, ladies and gentlemen, that is not a good result for frag4. That is going to be 3 people in capped, 1 person remaining. That 1 person being Wristburner, aka Rochelle. Gets the revival onto Coach, and he consumes pain pills immediately. But my goodness, that is tricky. This is going to be a tricky situation for them. They still have 1 more tank to survive as well. Let's just see how much further they can make it. That's going to be the hunter pouncing around, as well as a jockey, charger, excuse me. Charger is spawning up above the survivors, looking to intercept with the smoker, which he does. And there's going to be a hunter as well. So there we have it, ladies and gentlemen. We see the wipe there. And at the moment, it's around about 900 points or so, separating these 2 teams. And it does look as though they are deciding to play the full thing. So here we are, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome. If you are just tuning in, well, a little bit late because we are going to be going into the second half pretty shortly. So welcome, everybody. And welcome to my face cam as well. To all. We shall be waiting to get everything set up. So welcome everybody. This is going to be the transition period. We're just waiting for the survivors. Just kidding. We're waiting for everybody to get into the European-based server, and then we shall be seeing how they take it. So welcome everybody. Why am I not in a tuxedo? I was gonna wear a shirt, but I decided against it. So went with this instead in the end. So just stay tuned, ladies and gentlemen. We are looking to go live here pretty soon. No, I'm not 17. I'm 23 years of age. I am not 17, but thank you. Right. So thank you everybody for tuning in, and thank you for your patience, of course. We do need to just decide on a server at this present moment. Which means that there is, of course, going to be some downtime here.
Wow, my game didn't crash. I'm so happy right now.
Yeah. Have to say, this ping is really confusing though. I don't know why I have 1,000 ping and yet I'm completely fine in this. Yeah, this is the downtime period, by the way, guys, just so that you know. Please do stay tuned. This is a perfect time to get some refreshments if you are able to. Now would be a pretty good time as we wait on these two sides here to be grouping up. Oh, you're putting my camera back on? Okay, right, yep. Hello. There we are, ladies and gentlemen. Lulz. I am here. So yeah, we're just going to be waiting on one more player from frag4, ladies and gentlemen, before we go live. Did you put a paper? Of course I did, dude. Basic kind of, you know, privacy lesson number 1. If you have a webcam and you can be seen through it, and you want to put something on it, you know, just in case. But yeah, this is of course the downtime, so please feel free to get some refreshments, get some popcorn, some soda, whatever you're into, whatever you're having tonight or this morning, afternoon, wherever you're watching from. Thank you very much for the compliment there, Kiata bro. Thank you for that. That's very nice. So yes, we just have just one more player. So essentially, we're just chilling. Not really much right now. We are, of course, as you can see, now on a European server, which is going to be advantageous for frag4. However, they are behind, and that's the thing. Hair wisp styled? No, it's not styled. Literally just brushed. And like, that's it. Just a hairbrush. I cut my own hair, by the way. Like, just a little bit of a fun fact about your boy who's currently casting. I cut my own hair. Right, so everybody is looking like they're getting into the game now, and the downtime period is coming to a slow end. So looking like we will be going live pretty soon. So we can switch to the game and we can say goodbye to my face and say hello to the face of this very exciting game in which we are swapping onto the European server now. And now frag4 are on home territory. Just one more person on frag4, and we shall be going live, ladies and gentlemen. As we can see in the chat there, the go-go coming out from Dave. They are ready for this, and it doesn't seem like they're setting the scores, but around about 900 points is separating these two teams here, which obviously means that Luckyglock are going to be taking survivors first and foremost. It's going to be a jockey and a hunter with the boomer and the spitter. Jockey is spawned up. Going to be moving in with the hunter, both of which are shut down, though so effortlessly. And that's going to be no luck from the spitter either. Well, I mean, if nothing lands, then the spitter is as good as dead, really. But that is going to be a boom onto one person. They try to push the tank and get some damage onto him, but they don't actually manage very much at all, actually. They just about manage 100 rounded up, but really it's what, like 50 or so? So like 56 damage is all they really did there. So all in all, well played by frag4 to have retreated in that moment, and good job to the boomer as well to make sure he didn't take too much unnecessary chip. Tank, of course, predictably, is going to be going for the dumpsters. He is going to be looking to set something up with them. We are looking at a pause here, though, coming out from frag4 on this European-dominated server. European-dominated? European-located server, excuse me. So we do have a pause, ladies and gentlemen, which obviously I cannot, for the life of me, predict how long it would be. It does appear that Spongy specifically is having some difficulties there, so that is going to be what we'll wait on for the time being. So this is going to be the tank fight, and that tank is looking for those dumpsters, though. So, you know, we're just going to have to see how he fares with these dumpsters. And I suppose we can put the camera back on, really, because there's not really a lot happening. So, yeah, we can get the camera back on if you like. Going to be interesting to see how this unfolds. I really don't know why I have 1000 ping, though. That is so confusing. Adoption? Who's talking about adoption here? Interesting. So yes, thank you everybody for tuning in. Unfortunately, apologies on behalf. We do have a pause right now. There are some technical difficulties going on in the hands of frag4, so we are going to be waiting on them, and then we'll be good to go. Hopefully everybody is having a wonderful day. Evening, morning, night, or afternoon, depending on where you're watching from. My name, if you are unaware, is haraldsson, Harry, whatever you want to call me. That is my name. And it does appear that Luckyglock are getting a bit impatient there in the chat. So it's going to be interesting that this is such an early tank as well that it's kind of. It's ideal. It is definitely ideal. What's this? Harold say, clear me your monkeys. That doesn't sound good in my accent, I don't think. I think that sounds better in like Australian. Or like a Cockney. If anybody knows what a Cockney accent is, that would probably go better with that. My accent doesn't really work with it. Have I considered growing a beard? I've tried. It doesn't work. That's the end of that story. Beards are not my friend. That's for sure. But thank you once again for tuning in, and thank you very much for your patience as well. Say in it, bruv. Oi, lads. Yeah. British slang. Oh, British slang. It is an interesting one. No, so we have Luckyglock, who have readied up. We're still waiting on frag4. I'm not sure what's happened to Spongy there. He is completely AWOL at the moment. So thank you, everybody. It looks like, oh, fully loaded, which means that you're going to have to say goodbye to me again, and we're going to be probably pretty soon be saying hello to the gameplay that we are essentially here for. Yep, we're going live, ladies and gentlemen, so enjoy. In terms of score from last game, yeah, the score from last game, around about 900 points is currently separating these two teams, basically. So Luckyglock at the moment are in the lead by about 1,000 points in terms of the previous round. Something like that. Give or take. I mean, my math is not excellent, but there's going to be a smoker, jockey, and a charger, as well as a tank moving in for the survivors, looking for that first punch. And that's going to be an immediate in-cap, actually. So, not the greatest news for Luckyglock. Good news for frag4, though. Several punches onto Ellis. That's a guaranteed in-cap. Tank is still alive as well. 2 survivors remain. 2 survivors are down. Jockey moves in, gets the stumble. This could actually be a wipe here, ladies and gentlemen, which is exactly what frag4 needs. And they're scratching everything. They're scratching the living hell out of Rochelle. That is going to be a guaranteed wipe here. So, whoa, ladies and gentlemen, we have a turn of events here. That is a very good wipe. And, well, there we have it, ladies and gentlemen. It is the wipe. And this could be what frag4 are looking for. This could be the potential for the comeback. So let's just see if this window of opportunity is capitalized on. It is now all up to frag4 to shut down this tank and try to close this gap here, because the gap as it stands is around about, you know, maybe 1,000 points or so separating them. So we shall be going live into the second half of the first chapter here. Of course, we are on the second half of the entire installment. Boomer and a Spitter with a Jockey and a Hunter. Which, of course, the first attack is always going to be the same for both sides, regardless. It's going to be very heavily dependent on the Boomer, I would say, in terms of what they do next. Hunter is pouncing around, looking for distraction. They do pre-spit, but they can't quite get the pounce in the spit in time. Unfortunately, he was out of the spit by the time the Hunter landed, and that is going to be a shutdown of the attack. Very little damage. And the survivors are in a much better position, actually. They can push this tank, which they are indeed doing so, and they are going to do a lot of damage here. In fact, they are going to do over 2,000 already, nearly 3,000 damage, plus they skeet the tank. Plus they skeet the tank rock as well, so they didn't take any punishment, and they've done 3,000 damage rounded up to the nearest 1,000. So there you have it. That is incredible. And tank is going to be looking to move the dumpsters in, though. He has a good angle on it there. That could be a decent angle. It's moving in. It's in play. Hasn't hit anybody, but it's in play at least. Although the tank has taken so much damage that the infected have to support very early. The dumpster hits the jockey instead of the survivors. That's going to be a punch onto Nick, a double charge. That's going to be a rock interception, which misses Rochelle, unfortunately. Looking for the dumpster He's going to be looking for that hit there. The dumpster is falling off of the tree, though. And unfortunately, the tank is not looking in a good position. He is going to die to the survivors here. Frag4, they're on fire right now. And they are certainly on home territory, ladies and gentlemen. Their gameplay has increased tenfold. And, well, they know what's at stake. That's for sure. They are well aware of what is at stake. That is a Hunter, Spitter, Charger, and a Boomer for the Special Infected. Then again, we do know how capable Luckyglock are on the Special Infected side. They have put out some very devastating attacks in the duration of this match, so we're obviously going to hope to see some more of that. Of course, if they want to keep the leads, then that is essentially what they have to do. Just passing 50% of the map here is the survivors. Hunter, Charger with the Spitter and Boomer. So it's a 2-2. Survivors making their way indoors here. Hunter is moving in first. Going to be getting the pin onto Coach, followed by the Charger, who's looking to get the charge and the spit. But unfortunately, well, Coach made very good use of the jump feature there, actually. Because he could have been stumbled in the spit there, but he actually jumped in time to avoid the stumble. And if you're not aware, when you jump, you are actually immune to stumbles when you're midair. So say, for example, you're a tank and you're moving in and your Boomer is right beside you. If you jump, then he won't stumble you, basically. So, handy thing to know in this game. That's going to be a Smoker spawning up with the Hunter and Jockey, all of which are moving in. Nicely shut down on the Hunter and the Jockey, though. Smoker doesn't stand a chance here. He will be falling to the survivors. They have taken some damage, but they are covering ground here. And, I mean, they're already well beyond half. They are literally at the safe room. And they are going to make it into the safe room here. 1,104 points. Now, this is the point where it would help if we know what the points are, actually, because I think right now we're looking at a very narrow, very, very narrow point margin. Because personally, I don't quite remember the scores, if I am honest. So, but I do certainly know that that is enough to cover the point margin. That is a very good result by frag4. It's a very, very well played by frag4.
I ever tell you about the time my buddy Keith got married? Of course not. That's a trick.
Perhaps a little bit disappointing though for Luckyglock, because they played so well the first half of this game. Played incredibly well, in fact. But, well, there we have it. frag4 have most certainly essentially taken the lead back here. And it's an interesting turn of events, I have to say. So frag4, already in their home advantage, have taken the lead back. frag4 will be leading this leading in this home territory. There's going to be a Boomer dead stopped and shut down along with the Hunter and Jockey. Everything shut down so effortlessly. These guys it's as if they're like they've swapped players or something. It's incredible. Like they really have switched on, and they really are aware of what's at stake here, and you can tell that they want this win. They really do. They want to stay in the winner bracket. Luckyglock and frag4 both being in the winner bracket, and very deservedly so. But of course, only one can remain. Charger, Boomer, Hunter, and a Smoker. Hunter is pouncing around. He's above the survivors on the high grounds, looking for the damage pounce. Can potentially manage a 25 here, depending on how well it goes. Smoker is spawning above the survivors. Just looking to make some noise, as is the Hunter. Charger moves in, gets a stumble. Hunter is moving in with a double boom. Several scratches being inflicted onto Nick here, which, yeah, that is a lot of damage. That is for sure. Not the best, of course. You know, they probably would have hoped for more, but that's still not a bad result, all things considered. Some damage onto Coach, and significant damage onto Nick as well. We have a Jockey and a Spitter, followed by a Smoker and a Boomer. Survivors are going to make their way through this tunnel here. Let's just see how this attack goes. It is a 2-2, and it is one of the... It's argued to be the worst setup in the game, the Jockey, Smoker, Spitter, and Boomer. But I have to say, I think it could make something happen. I think something promising could happen here if they do it right, because it is a reasonable setup for an indoor location. Let's just see how it unfolds, though. Tank is at 65%, Survivor's currently at 50%. He is spawning pretty soon. There is a boom onto one Survivor. That one Survivor being on the ladder, but that's not going to trouble them too much. It also means that if they would like, they could actually move up before the Boomer can restore his vomit, but it's just dependent on how quick they are. And really, the common infected, they're not really dropping down very, very easily. As we can see, they are kind of just running around the entrance or the exit there, around the hole. So the Boomer is guaranteed to get a recharge on the vomit there. And they still have this Smoker, Spitter, Boomer, and Jockey to work with at this choke point. Horde is going to be spawning, so Survivors are just making sure they're taking no risks whatsoever. They're clearing everything they possibly can, and of course, you can't blame them really. And these common infected are being interesting. That is for sure. There's definitely a bit of glitching going on in terms of the common infected, because they are not jumping down that ladder. They seem to be a little bit scared of doing it for some reason. I highly doubt we're going to restart the entire game because of that, though, ladies and gentlemen. That's going to be Coach moving up first and foremost, dodges the Smoker. Jockey is going to land onto Nick. That's going to be the Boomer attempting to land onto Coach, but can't quite do it. And the instant Smoker is unsuccessful as well onto Coach, who is really showing himself to be very good, actually. Dave in particular. I've seen many good things from him in this game, that's for sure. Tank is going to be in the hands of Avocado, who is going to make his way towards the Survivors as they retreat. Jockey, Charger, and a Hunter will be what the Survivors have to deal with here as they move forward. It is an interesting setup. I wonder what the Tank is going to choose to do. He is going to go in with it, actually, straight away. But the Charger is focus fired into oblivion by frag4 here. That is a double punch, and that could be an in-cap as well. There is indeed an in-cap. That's going to be some punches onto Ellis, followed by Coach. Could even be double punches if they are not grouping up, which is a wise decision. And they end up getting a punch onto Coach, followed by another. He's spreading the damage relatively well, but will end up eventually falling to the Survivors here. They're probably going to look to in-cap Coach here, I imagine, unless they... maybe not. But then again, there are spawns up. There is a Smoker, Boomer, and Spitter up, so they probably don't want to take that risk in this present moment. But it is a Spitter and a Boomer, therefore it is a 2-2, a guaranteed 2-2. The Charger and the Smoker are going to be the pinners of the attack. Boomer gets the boom onto one Survivor, of whom is on top and is going to be smoked. That's a lot of miscommunication there, and that's really not what they need. That could even be a death with the way things are going right now. Charger is looking to intercept as well as everything else. Double charge, followed by an interception. Boomer, it's a death. And it is not looking good for frag4. All of a sudden, it has gone right out of the window. And ladies and gentlemen, unfortunately, the guy that I was referring to as the MVP essentially has now fallen. And that might not be the best thing, actually, because Dave is a very strong part of this team. So they are down to 3 Survivors now. And that is not good news for them. Boomer onto one. Jockey, Hunter, and Smoker moving in. They just need a tri-cap. That's all they need. Jockey lands, but Hunter does not. And, well, he does land, but a little bit late. And the Smoker is shut down as well. So all in all, an unsuccessful tri-cap. And the Survivors are pretty much all limping, actually. Well, no, 2 of them are. And Rochelle is not. But, you know, she's at 63 HP. She's not far away from it. Let's just see how much longer they can survive here, though. There's a Charger, Boomer, Smoker, and a Spitter. It's a 2-2. That's going to be a Rocket Boom onto one survivor. Charger is moving in, gets the charge onto Nick, followed by the Spit, which actually misses, unfortunately, but it doesn't matter too much because he is incapped anyway. And the person boomed is Ellis, which means the Common Infected will not target the incapped survivor, and it makes the get-up very easy. Well, a lot easier. Then again, crescendo time, and with 3 survivors, so good luck to frag4 is really all I can say here. That's going to be a Hunter and a Jockey, followed by a Boomer and a Charger. They have the tri-cap, and that's all they need. Jockey is moving in. Hunter lands, Jockey lands. Charger could be securing it, but he can't quite secure the deal here. And he's looking for the punches. He is going to get the death onto Nick at the very least. That's going to be an in-cap as well onto Ellis. And, well, I mean, fair play to Rochelle for considering reviving him, but really her best bet is to just simply run. She is not going to be able to revive him whatsoever. That will not be physically possible at all. So onwards and upwards for Rochelle, who's looking for the safe room. Gets into the safe room at least. So now we just need to wait for the essentially the death of Ellis before we move on to the next half of this. But, well, they made it into the safe room here with the remaining 1 survivor, Rochelle. I mean, not really much to speak of in terms of health bonus, of course, but there we have it, ladies and gentlemen. And here we shall be moving into the second half of this chapter, where Luckyglock are going to have their chance on Survivor. And let's just see how they do. It's going to be interesting. Certainly for my sake as well, I'm very interested to see how this pans out, because as we speak, frag4 have actually taken the lead back. So, Boomer, Hunter, Spitter, and a Jockey, same as before, as always, as Rochelle exits the safe room. That is going to be a pause by Luckyglock. Can never really guarantee for how long it will be, but that is indeed going to be a pause. But yes, overall, a very exciting game so far, full of twists and turns, and, well, I am very much enjoying being a part of this. And we are ready to go live here, ladies and gentlemen. We are unpausing, and here we are in the second half of this chapter, with Luckyglock's chance to play Survivor now. Let's just see how they execute this attack. It's going to be a difficult one to execute, really, because I would prefer a Smoker here, personally. So let's just see. Boomer goes in first and foremost onto 2 survivors. Pre-spit tries to set something up for the Jockey, but really the survivors are not going to care too much. And they are going to continue to make their way forward after having dealt with the Boomer horde here. And they shall continue, but the Boomer did actually delay them for a little bit here, so... Smoker, Charger, Boomer, and a Hunter for this ladder choke point, or this upcoming ladder choke point here. Gonna be a tri-cap, gonna be a Hunter, patiently waiting above the survivors as well. Both teams being equally as patient as one another. And of course you would be as well, because you have to consider the environments we're in here. It's a very stressful environment for these 2 teams. Charger is moving in, going to be landing the connection onto Ellis, but that's really the only connection they can make. All in all, well played. To the they get the smoke onto Rochelle there, and that was a reasonable thing. I got some damage because it's awkward to kind of try to clear somebody like that, so well played to them at least.
Reloading. Got a paddle bat.
Boomer, Spitter, and a Jockey in the hands of the Special Infected, which will be followed by a Hunter. So it is a 2-2, and we're going back to the first attack, because the first attack was also this. Hunter and the Jockey with the Boomer and the Spitter. Hunter is spawned up, just pouncing around, essentially just trying to get on one of these lampposts so that he can get the 25 damage pounce. Let's just see if he can manage it, though. That's a boom onto 2 survivors. And Rochelle is going to be taking the front role here. She's going to be clearing the common infected on the ladder. The boomer is just patiently waiting behind the bridge here. Survivors moving up. 25 damage pounce right onto Ellis there. Committed by Dave. The one and only Dave is proving himself to be such a lethal player here. Really is. And 25 damage pounce only exceeds that. So tank is going to be spawning in the hands of frag4 though. And it's now up to Luckyglock to, well, essentially kill this tank if they want to take the lead back. Because they do need it. This is the second installment. They are on away disadvantage as well. So Charger is moving in from behind the corner, gets a scratch onto Rochelle, but not much more to follow. They don't want a Charger here. And really, I don't blame them. They do have a Hunter and a Smoker, and in 6 seconds, we're going to see what the third and final spawn is. Excuse me. Jockey, Hunter, and a Smoker. So it's a tri-cap without the Charger. I wonder if this is, well, it's not really a case of wondering if it's satisfactory or not. It kind of has to be, because the tank is on second pass, and he has to go in here. Smoker separates Rochelle. Nicely done there, actually. Very well played. That's going to be Ellis pinned by the tank as well. The interceptions are unreal here. That's going to be several punches. The tank is intercepting not only the Hunter, but the Smoker as well. That's going to be an in-cap. That's going to be several damage across the board. That's going to be 2 in-caps, excuse me. Tank is pinning Coach in the corner here. 3k HP. This could even be a wipe, ladies and gentlemen. frag4 are just absolutely on fire here. They have to really make sure they can get these last 2 punches, though. Final punch onto Coach is successful. Ellis is the last one that remains, and with the boomer coming in, landing the boom, he stands no chance. Final punch, and that is it, ladies and gentlemen. It is a wipe. And my goodness, frag4, now that they have positioned themselves into a home advantage. Oh, lordy lord. Indeed, they are doing very well here, ladies and gentlemen. So, in terms of the scores here, it is a very dominant performance from frag4. They have gotten 2 wipes, not to mention made it into the safe room twice as well. So, well, there we have it. That is very well played by them. You have to give them props because, you know, they were behind after all. This is, for all intents and purposes, this is what you would call a comeback. So let's just see what is going to be happening here in this upcoming chapter. It is, of course, going to be frag4 taking the lead on Survivor side first and foremost, and then we'll be seeing Luckyglock on the Survivor side on the second half. So there we have it, ladies and gentlemen. So welcome to everybody once again, and thank you very much for tuning in. It's always a pleasure to be commentating these matches. Absolutely love it. It is just one of my favorite things to do. And well, what better way than to bring to you frag4 versus Luckyglock here in the winner brackets. And you know, there are only four teams that remain in the winner bracket, and they're just setting the tank spawn here before they go live. But I mean, honestly, you have to really respect these players in general, like all of them really, because they are playing for about 2 hours straight. You know, they are playing for a long time, and that can mentally, as in psychologically, be a little bit exhausting potentially, you know, with the duration. So all in all, very well played to both of these sides for giving us a sight. We are going to see Spirit playing the tank for Luckyglock here, as the survivors are looking to clear the common infected before they move into the open area. They have a Smoker, Hunter, and a Charger, followed by a Boomer. So they have that tri-cap. Smoker is spawning up, looking for Coach there, but can't quite get the tongue onto Coach. There's going to be cut. Looks for it again, gets it, but is denied in 0.15 seconds. Wow, that is fast. That is going to be the Boomer, landing a boom onto one survivor. They might attack, or they might wait for the final spawn. Potentially. Let's just see what they do here. I mean, the survivors are not going to move out, that's for sure. At least not before they clear the common infected. 3 seconds remaining for the fourth and final spawn. It could actually be a quad cap. It's not quite a quad cap. Hunter is shut down as well so effortlessly, as is the Charger, which is essentially a Charger skeet, to be honest. Like, let's be real, that is essentially a Charger skeet. And as well as the Hunter skeet, and they're essentially just skeeting everything. And onwards and upwards, they continue moving. They are going to trigger the alarm card there, but just simply because there is a crescendo coming up anyway. And that is the jockey moving in, getting shot down so easily again. That's going to be a double boom off the back of the Hunter, and that's going to be the Smoker from behind as well. But the Smoker can't make a heck of a lot happen, besides just essentially being a nuisance before he dies. And he does indeed die there. I just see in the chat a car skeet. Well, I would love to see a car skeet. That would be something. Jockey, Charger, Spitter, and in 1 second we're going to see a Hunter. So we have the tri-cap with the Spitter. Hunter is moving in, so nicely shut down though, as is the Jockey, as is the Charger. My goodness, frag4 are just, honestly, they are on fire right now. They really are. Like, it's just like we're seeing a whole new team. It's as if they've like just reformed themselves. It's incredible. It really is. Very well played to frag4 so far. Coach has taken some damage, but it's only 30. It's really not that much. He's on 70 HP, so all things considered, it ain't that bad. Smoker, Hunter, and a Jockey tri-cap with the Boomer. So they don't have the Charger. Boomer is looking for the pre-spawn. Going to be trying to get the Vomit, but can't quite get it. One-shot skeet again from your boy Dave. That is going to be a dead stop on the Jockey as well, but not really a surprise by this point that Dave would pull out a one-shot skeet. He is certainly the strong link of this roster here. That is undeniable by this point. Then again, they are all very, very good, and that is why they are in the winner bracket, of course. They're in the winner bracket because they are darn good players. And that the same goes for Luckyglock as well. Very high caliber of players here. Ramirez, Nevermore, Avocado, and Spirit. It is a strong roster as well. Tank is looking for the curve rocks from behind the corner there. Still on pass number 1. So he has options, and he is continuing with the curve rocks, but they are dealt with very easily. Boom is actually going to land the boom onto one survivor, which I wonder if the tank will go in on. I wonder. He hasn't landed any rocks from the curve rocking, and he is not going in with the boomer either. So they are going to wait for the third and final spawn. They're going to be moving in with a tri-cap. And that tri-cap is going to be a Hunter, Smoker, and a Charger. So let's just see how they pull it off here. Tank is going to be committing here. The Spirit Tank gets the first punch onto Ellis off the back of the Smoker, but distance is created. He misses the second punch, unfortunately, as well, and he can't quite clear the distance. He's looking for another punch, gets the punch onto Rochelle. Nice skeet on the Hunter, though. That's going to be Rochelle pins, but the Charger will be dealt with effortlessly, and that's going to be an in-cap onto Rochelle. But the tank has seen better days, and he does have to retreat. But that is a dumpster right there, ladies and gentlemen. 2,000 HP with the tank as well. I mean, he's going to go straight in for that dumpster, I believe, if he's in time. Which I don't believe he was, so that's unfortunate, but he is moving in for Rochelle. He's going to continue the Reign of Terror onto Rochelle, looking for the in-cap. Can he get the in-cap? He can indeed. So at the very least, Rochelle is black and white. And yeah, to be honest, actually, I just realized where she was, and that dumpster is not easy to get into that truck. So I just realized where she was. But still, Rochelle is black and white, which means that when she goes to 0 HP, she doesn't get in-capped, she dies. So they have to be very, very careful of that. It is going to be a Hunter, Charger, and Smoker tri-cap with the Spitter. Let's just see how it is executed on this drop-down choke point. Smoker first onto Coach is denied. That's going to be an 11 damage pounce onto Rochelle, followed by the Spit, which doesn't go with the Charger. So that is all she wrote for the special infected attack there as they make their way forward here. Straight after the delay Spit, there's a lot of separation between, between Coach and Nick and the other two, but they can afford to because they know the spawn timers are presently down. But it is coming up again. There is going to be a Jockey, Hunter, and a Charger, which is the Tricap, completed with a Boomer. This is going to be their final attack, though, because the safe room is just steps away. Boomer is behind the van, now repositioning onto the roof there. Hunter and Jockey are both moving in. Hunter lands onto Ellis in the back, but is shut down. Double boom is not enough to allow the Charger to land, and, well, the Jockey is going to meet the same fate as everybody else, and these survivors are going to, I'm not going to say comfortably make it into the safe room, but they still do make it into the safe room, and 3 people have permanent HP, and one of them was black and white as well, so overall, they played pretty good. And, well, they are definitely making a statement here. That is for sure. This frag4 squad is making a statement. And it is being heard. And it is being seen. That is for sure. So it is now Luckyglock's attempt on the survivor side. And let's just see how they can deal with this this pressure, because this pressure is immense. Can't imagine being under this level of pressure. And I mean, you know, Luckyglock, they played so well in the first game as well that you can't help but feel a bit sorry for them. It must be demoralizing, considering how well they played in the first map. So, well, in the first half of this installment. So let's just see, are frag4 going to get another wipe, or are Luckyglock going to pull it out of the bag and make it to the safe room? I don't know, gonna have to see. These are all questions that can only be answered by getting stuck in, and we are going live in this half of the chapter. Charger, Smoker, Boomer, and a Hunter in the hands of the special infected, being frag4, of course. Separation is going to be key in this attack. They are going to look for it. They're going to look to intercept with the Smoker. It's going to be Ellis moving out first before the rest of his team. He's going to be making the first move. Hunter is moving in. Smoker onto Rochelle is denied, as well as the Hunter, but the Charger gets a scratch charge onto Rochelle, and that's at least some damage. But all in all, a well-played shutdown, and Luckyglock lived to see another day, and they shut down that attack pretty well, and they shall continue to move forward here. Boletta, this is game number 2, not game number 1. We are currently on the second half. Hunter, Boomer, Jockey, and a Spitter, as well as a Crescendo. That is going to be the Hunter moving in, connecting with Rochelle, followed by the Spit, followed by the Jockey, followed by the Boomer, and everything going on to Rochelle here. Look at the damage that Rochelle has taken. Now that is significant, and that is something that you can't really ignore. So there we have it. Survivors are currently shooting the door. Going to be waiting 7 seconds before the 4 special infected setup. So far is a Charger, Smoker, and a Hunter. And in 1 second, it's going to be a Boomer. So they have a Tricap without the Spitter. And a Spitter, I believe, would perhaps be slightly more ideal here. But, well, we're just going to have to see what happens and how they execute this attack here. That is going to be the, well, shutdown of the Boomer, which I presume is because they want that quad cap. And let's just see if they are awarded that quad cap. In 5 seconds, we're going to know. And in 1 second, it is indeed a Spitter, so it's not a quad cap. They are not awarded that quad cap, but they are awarded a spitter, and a spitter indoors, of course, is going to be a very good result. All in all, in they move, Hunter first, Charger second, gets the scratch charge, followed by the spit, and that is going to be prominence damage, ladies and gentlemen, onto Ellis especially. He had a rough time there getting out of the spit, and that is going to be a very well-executed attack, picking the right targets, and just, yeah, there we have it. Very well played by frag4 for what they have managed here. That is going to be a tank spawning up. Jockey moves in, is dead stopped and shut down. That's going to be a Hunter, Boomer, and a Smoker, which is not the worst setup, actually, especially if the Boomer can land, then a lot can happen here, but we're just going to have to see how they play this. Luckyglock, of course, are going to really need to be careful here because they this game is slipping away from them. And that is exactly what they need. That Boomer shutdown right there, that is the step in the right direction. Hunter is getting some scratches onto Coach, actually, and to be honest, that wasn't that bad damage. So they did good to shut down the Boomer, though. And Tank is attempting curve rocks from the window frame there, but he's saying no to that. Going to be continuing to throw some rocks over the wall here, and Coach actually wasn't aware of that rock. He is kind of lucky he didn't get hit by that. Dumpster is moving in from the tank. Can't quite connect. Just, oh, that could have bounced off of the wall onto Nick, actually. Just barely missing him. First punch onto Ellis is successful. He is going to be taking his pain pills, though. No rock is going to be landing. That's going to be a punch onto Ellis again, and he is going to be pinning... oh my goodness, they've triggered an alarm car. That is not good news whatsoever. The charger's going to land as well, and there's an in-cap on the other side of the map. There's Nick being pinned in a corner here. It's going to be a third wipe, ladies and gentlemen. It's not looking good at all for the North American squad here, as the point margin is increased to an irreversible extent as far as Luckyglock are concerned. So if you just switch on the camera, that would be great, because I'll just say our goodbyes. So ladies and gentlemen, thank you very much for tuning in. All you really need to know is that frag4, well, when they went into their home territory, they popped off. They absolutely popped off, and well played to them. frag4 are going to be victorious here, and we are not going to be seeing any more of the chapters as a result. So thank you everybody for tuning in. It's always been a pleasure, as always, and we will see you soon. So GG's and goodbye.